Hey, this is Phil from Phil's Place. Today we're going to be making some gluten-free crackers. This is a pretty good recipe, I have to say so myself. It's a simple recipe. These are going to be cheese crackers. And we're going to go over the recipe right now. So I have 1 cup gluten-free flour. This is the brand from Walmart. I think they call it Great Value. We got 1 cup of cheese. We got 1/2 teaspoon paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of water, and to put on the crackers when we're done, I have some coarse kosher salt. It really doesn't have to be kosher and it doesn't really have to be coarse, but the presentation is a little bit nicer to have some salt that you can actually see. So we're just going to mix all these ingredients together into the bowl and make the dough. Add the flour, and we're going to add the cheese. We're going to add the paprika, the 1/2 cup of salt, and I spilled some of the salt here. I'm sorry about that. One thing I've left out was also we have 4 tablespoons worth of butter. Add the water. Now the butter needs to be melted, so I just pulled it out of the microwave. So we're going to add the melted butter, and we're going to hold off on the salt until the very last. Now if you want to not put in the salt and just use the salt that's in the recipe, that's okay, but I think it tastes better with a little bit of extra salt. Depends on how your diet's going to be. So you can put all that aside, and we're going to go ahead and mix this up. Once this is basically mixed up, you're going to have to form that into a ball. So of course our hands are clean, so we're going to take this, and it's kind of a dry mixture, but we're going to form this into a ball about the size of a softball. Okay, when this is all done, it should be a nice ball just like that. So we're going to go ahead and put that aside. We're going to clean up our mess here, and we're going to roll out the dough. We have our cracker dough. We have a cookie sheet, and the best cookie sheets that you can use are ones that do not have a lip all around. We've got a rolling pin, a pizza cutter, and a couple of pieces of plastic wrap. We're going to take some cooking spray and spray the cookie sheet and the plastic wrap. So we're going to start by taking this and smashing it out on the cookie sheet as much as we can with our fingers. And once we get to a point, we'll go ahead and cover it with the plastic wrap and roll it even thinner. The thinner the better. Basically we want to get this dough to about 1/16 of an inch thick. So we're going to take some of our plastic wrap that's been sprayed on that side. Take our other piece and put it on this side. We want to spray it with the cooking spray because this dough is very, well, it's not sticky, but it's easy to break apart. So we're going to go ahead and roll this down out to 1/16 of an inch. Now as we start to roll this out, I'm just going to be rolling the dough off the tray itself. And as you can see, the tray is kind of moving all over the place. One of the things I'll do to help prevent that, I'll put down a dish towel, put that on there, and this will let me roll this without the cookie sheet doing the cha-cha. Okay, so that's nice and thin. Take off the plastic. And we're going to kind of trim up the edges here and take off the excess. And we can just save this dough for our next one here. So let's take this out from underneath here. We're just going to put that aside for now. Put a little bit more spray on the rolling pin. And we're going to be nice and careful, just getting this a little bit flatter here. And see, that's one of the problems that can happen. I wasn't being careful enough. And so I pulled up the dough, which is something that can happen, but it's not the end of the world. So we're going to take some of this material, put it back here, a little bit of our paper here, and we're just going to fix that hole. Okay, we're back to normal. So trim the edges here. And right along this line here. And we're just going to put that aside. Okay, now for our coarse salt. So we're just going to sprinkle some of this on here. Not too much. We want to, don't get it too salty, but we want to make sure this is savory. So just like that. And then we're just going to lightly pat this to keep the salt from becoming dislodged. Okay, we're going to take our pizza cutter, and this all depends on how big the pieces you want. I like my pieces to be about 1 inch square. So starting from the top or the bottom, we're just going to come and cut this about every 1 inch. And the straighter, the better. You can make them square, you can make them rectangular, just about any size you want, depending on what kind of cutter you might have. Okay, so we have the horizontal lines, and we're going to come back and do the exact same at 90 degrees. I'm sure in the factories they can produce these a lot faster than what I can do. Okay, so what we're going to do next, we're going to take these and we're going to put them into the oven at 400 degrees for about 8 minutes. Okay, here's our crackers right out of the oven. Now we're going to have to let them cool a little bit. Right now, if we were to try to take them off, they'd be just a little bit soft. But once they cool, they should break up into little squares very easy. So we're going to let those cool down, and we'll come back in a few minutes. Once these are cooled, we need to break them apart. So we're just going to be real careful, start at one corner, and just kind of plow our way through these. And they should easily break into individual squares. Now, if these are not done, and you can tell these are done, if they're still soft, you can put them back into an oven, say at about 170, 200 degrees for a few minutes, just to help dry these out. So these came out to be really good and cooked the first time around. And as you can see, they're about a 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch, and that's exactly how thin you want to get these. And they taste really good. So there you go. Cheese crackers, gluten-free and very good. I hope you enjoy and I hope you have success. Thanks.